You know, we keep hearing about the economy having this so-called soft landing. But let's be real, does it actually feel that way for your wallet? Because in 2026, there's this massive gap between the big headlines talking about GDP and what's really happening at the kitchen table. So today, we're going to dig into the real story, the one hiding behind the numbers. And fair warning, it might just change how you think about your own financial future.
And this quote, wow, it's from Professor Anant, who's seen both sides of the coin as a banker and now an academic. It just nails the central question, right? Why are people, even high earners, feeling poor? And look, this isn't just some vague feeling in the air. It's a flashing red light, a symptom of a huge economic shift happening right under our feet.
All right, first up, the paycheck mirage. You know, this idea that a high salary is the golden ticket to financial security. But is it? Is that really true anymore in 2026? Well, as we're about to see, the real story is a lot more complicated. $113,500. So, what is that? Well, get this. That's the income level where more and more households are saying they still feel poor. Yeah, you heard that right. Over 6 figures, and the financial stress is still there. It's a number that really makes you stop and think, doesn't it? So what in the world is going on here? I mean, the easy answer is to just blame lifestyle creep, right? People making more, spending more. But the data shows it's not that simple. The real issue is that the cost of just a basic middle-class life, you know, a home, good healthcare, sending your kids to a decent school, is skyrocketing. It's rising way faster than even high salaries can keep up. It's like the goalposts for being financially secure haven't just moved, they're playing a completely different sport now.
And here's a perfect way to see how broken things have become. We've all heard of the 50-30-20 rule, right? 50% for your needs, 30% for wants, and a solid 20% for savings. That was the promise. But the 2026 reality? It's a totally different story. Those needs, the fixed costs, they're now eating up 60% of your paycheck. And savings? That's getting squeezed down to less than 5% for so many people. That 20% cushion we were all banking on? Poof. It's basically a fantasy.
Okay, when you can't save, what happens? You guessed it, it leads right to our next big topic, debt. But we're not talking about your grandpa's version of debt. Things have changed. We're about to walk into what I'd call the modern debt maze, a system where the very things that are supposed to help you can end up being traps.
Let's take student loans, for example. You start with something that seems totally manageable, but then, bam, an unexpected shift in interest rates, and that reasonable loan starts to snowball. We're seeing cases where it balloons into a $157,000 financial nightmare. It's this avalanche that can literally bury a person financially for decades.
And then, of course, there's the big one. The biggest piece of debt for most families, the mortgage. Is feeling the pain, and that's leading to a global spike in what the experts call delinquency risks, which is just a fancy way of saying more and more people are in danger of missing their payment. And to make things even crazier, as people start leaning more on their credit cards just to cover the rising costs, the lenders are turning around and penalizing them for it. So that high credit utilization, which is supposed to be a temporary thing, is now becoming a wall. It's cutting people off from the affordable loans they need to, actually get ahead. It's a textbook vicious cycle.
But what if that wall isn't even real? What if it's built on bad information? Well, that's exactly what's happening. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau has flagged this huge, growing problem they're calling junk data. And it's exactly what it sounds like. Just plain, wrong, outdated information hiding out in your credit report, telling a completely false story about you.
And the damage this stuff does? Oh, it's devastating. Think of it like a hidden tax that you're forced to pay. It means you're getting hit with higher interest rates than you should. It means getting denied for loans you totally qualify for. You're basically getting locked out of the system, all because of a stupid error you had no idea was even there. This isn't just a mistake, it's a systemic flaw that's costing real people serious money.
Okay, so we've been looking at all the traps inside our own financial systems. But now I need you to zoom out with me, way out. Because some of the biggest threats to your wallet in 2026, they're not coming from your bank. They're coming from forces playing out on the world stage.
Let's start with this number, $28.3 billion. That's how much money is being stolen from older adults every single year through financial scams. And this isn't just some small-time theft we're talking about. This is a massive, direct attack on generational wealth. It's a silent crisis that's draining families dry all over the globe.
Now, think about your biggest asset. For most of us, it's our home, right? And in a stable country, your home is like a fortress. It's where you build your wealth. But what happens when the world outside that fortress gets shaky? In another country, or even your own if things get volatile, that same home can become a liability. Its value can just evaporate because of things happening that are completely out of your hands. This is what Professor Anant calls the prisoners of geography effect. Just let that sink in for a second. Your location, the dirt you're standing on, the stability of the government around you, how your country fits into the bigger global picture, that now decides up to 60% of your potential wealth. Suddenly, geopolitics isn't some abstract thing on the news. It's deeply, deeply personal. And there's another global giant that's now sitting right on your personal balance sheet: climate change. This isn't some far-off idea anymore. It's showing up in your life as insane insurance premiums. It's property values tanking in areas that are at risk. It's all these new costs for climate resiliency. Every single one of those is a direct hit, eating away at your family's equity. So, with all these new pressures piling on, what does it do to our long-term goals? Well, just look at the FIRE movement. Financial independence, retire early. The dream was always to hit that goal in maybe 15 years. But the reality in 2026? For most people, that finish line has been pushed way back to 25 years or even more. The road to financial freedom just got a whole lot longer. Okay, so after all that, I know, it's a lot. Where do we go from here? What's the solution? Well, it's not about pinching more pennies or finding a better budgeting app. The answer is much bigger than that. We need a fundamental upgrade to our thinking. We need what Professor Anant calls a financial software update. And the first part of this update is learning a whole new language. It's called geo-economics. It's all about understanding that there's a direct line connecting what happens in the halls of global power to what happens in your bank account. And trust me, this isn't just for academics anymore. It's the essential vocabulary for survival in the world we live in now. Ultimately, the whole point of this software update is to get to a place of what's called financial autonomy. And listen, this is way more than just being debt-free. It's a completely new mindset. It's about being resilient, being aware, and thinking strategically so you can handle not just your own budget, but all those massive global forces we've been talking about. And all of this really boils down to one final critical question that you have to ask yourself. In a world that has changed this much, this fast, has your financial thinking changed with it? Are you still running on the financial software of yesterday? Or are you actually equipped to handle the very real, very complex world of today and tomorrow?